Yo, what's up, everybody? You know how much I love to travel, right? Hitting the road, catching flights, exploring new places. It's in my blood. But lately things have been getting weird, like real weird. There's a growing list of countries that are straight up banning Americans. Yeah, you heard me right. Banned. They don't want us there. And we're not talking about some tiny islands you've never heard of. We're talking about real places with real cultures, places I know a lot of you have been wanting to visit. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dive deep into this, explore the why, the how, and the where of these bans. From political disputes to health concerns and beyond, we're uncovering the truth about these no-go zones for Americans. Get ready for some serious travel drama, because things are about to get interesting. First up, we're headed to a place shrouded in mystery, a land of strict rules and even stricter leaders, North Korea. Known officially as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, this isolated nation has long been wary of Western influence. But recently they've taken things up a notch, completely shutting their borders to American citizens. The reason? Well, it's a tangled web of political tension, accusations of espionage, and deep-rooted ideological differences. The US and North Korea have a long and complicated history marked by conflicts like the Korean War and ongoing disputes over the North's nuclear program. This travel ban is a stark reminder of the fragile relationship between these two nations. It's a tough pill to swallow for anyone hoping to experience the unique and often misunderstood culture of North Korea. All right, next up, we're traveling to a place that couldn't be more different from North Korea, the tropical paradise of the Maldives. Picture this: crystal clear turquoise waters, pristine white sand beaches, luxurious overwater bungalows. It's the ultimate escape, a dream destination for honeymooners, celebrities, and anyone looking to unplug and unwind. But hold on a sec, because there's a catch. The Maldives, despite its picture-perfect facade, has implemented a controversial policy, a ban on tourists from specific countries, including, you guessed it, the United States. But here's the kicker: this ban isn't about politics. It's about something far more unexpected: over-tourism. If you found this surprising, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating travel destination facts. The Maldives, you see, are facing a unique problem. They're a victim of their own success. The influx of tourists, while great for the economy, is putting a strain on the island's fragile ecosystem. Waste management, resource depletion, damage to coral reefs. These are just a few of the challenges posed by the sheer number of visitors. So in a bid to protect their natural beauty and preserve their way of life, the Maldivian government has taken drastic measures. They've introduced quotas, limiting the number of tourists from certain countries, effectively banning Americans from experiencing their slice of paradise. It's a controversial move, one that has sparked debate about sustainability, responsible travel, and the delicate balance between economics and environmental preservation. Okay, this one might come as a shock, right? I mean, Australia, the land of kangaroos, koalas, and Chris Hemsworth. Who would ban Americans from a place like that? Well, buckle up, because in this alternate 2024 reality, Australia has become a total no-go zone for US citizens. And the reason? Climate change, my friends. Remember those devastating wildfires that ravaged the country a few years back? Well, imagine that on a scale 10 times worse. Uncontrollable fires, scorching heat waves, entire cities swallowed by rising sea levels. Australia is on the front lines of the climate crisis. The government, desperate to protect its remaining resources and its people, has made the difficult decision to close its borders. They're calling it a necessary measure to ensure their survival. Now you might be thinking, but Casey, climate change affects everyone. Why single out Americans? Here's the kicker. Australia's ban specifically targets countries with a history of environmental negligence. And let's be real, the US hasn't exactly been a poster child for environmental responsibility. Years of denying climate science, pulling out of international agreements, and prioritizing profits over the planet have landed us on Australia's naughty list. It's a harsh reality check, and frankly, a wake-up call the world needs. The consequences of inaction are no longer some distant threat. They're here, and they're changing the global landscape, literally. So while you might not be booking a flight to Sydney anytime soon, maybe this fictional ban can serve as a reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting this planet. Because if we don't, the only borders we'll be crossing are those between a habitable planet and a wasteland. Number 5 on our list takes us to a place that's pretty much synonymous with paradise: Fiji. Yeah, those idyllic islands with crystal clear waters, pristine beaches, and a culture that screams relaxation. But in this twisted turn of events, Fiji has become the ultimate sorry, not sorry destination for Americans. So, what's the deal? Well, imagine this. A massive measles outbreak rips through the islands, decimating the local population. The culprit, a strain originating from, you guessed it, the good old US of A. Turns out, a group of unvaccinated American tourists brought more than just their selfie sticks and sunscreen to Fiji. They brought a highly contagious disease that spread like wildfire through a population with limited immunity. The Fijian government, devastated by the outbreak and furious at the disregard for their well-being, takes drastic action. They slam the door shut on American tourists, effectively declaring them persona non grata. Now, I know what you're thinking, Casey. It's just one group of tourists. You can't blame an entire nation. And you're right, it's not about blaming everyone. It's about accountability, about recognizing the very real consequences of our actions, or in this case, inaction. The anti-vaccination movement, fueled by misinformation and fear-mongering, has real-world implications. It's not just about personal choice. It's about public health, about protecting the most vulnerable among us. And in this hypothetical scenario, it's cost Americans their access to paradise. Fiji's ban is a stark reminder that our choices have ripple effects, and sometimes those ripples can turn into tidal waves. So, the next time you're packing for a trip, remember to pack your common sense and your sense of responsibility. Get vaccinated, not just for yourself, but for the sake of the communities you visit and the world we share. All right, guys, we're diving deep into the world of travel bans, and this one's a doozy. Country number 6 is notorious for being a little, let's say, private. You guessed it, we're talking about North Korea. This isn't exactly breaking news, but yeah, Americans are pretty much banned from visiting North Korea. It's been that way for a while, with a few exceptions here and there for journalists and humanitarian efforts. But even then, it's a tightrope walk. The reasons? Well, it's a whole cocktail of political tension, nuclear standoffs, and let's be real, a whole lot of mistrust on both sides. The US and North Korea, we've got a history, and it ain't pretty. You see, it all goes back to the Korean War, which, fun fact, never actually officially ended. Yeah, we're technically still at war. Add to that North Korea's nuclear ambitions, human rights record, and their general distaste for anything Western. And you've got a recipe for a big, fat travel ban. Now, I'm all about pushing boundaries, exploring the unknown, but even I got to admit, North Korea is a tough nut to crack. They're incredibly secretive, and the consequences for stepping out of line can be severe. So unless you're a seasoned diplomat or a journalist with a death wish, I'd say admire this one from afar. Trust me, there are plenty of other crazy adventures out there that won't land you in a North Korean prison. Next up, we're heading to a place that usually screams vacation, but hold your horses because this island paradise might not be so welcoming to Americans anymore. Country number 7 is the Maldives. Yeah, you heard that right. Those picture-perfect beaches and overwater bungalows, they might be off limits soon. Now, before you freak out and cancel your dream vacation, it's not a total ban yet. But there's a growing movement within the Maldives, fueled by concerns over climate change and, let's be honest, a little bit of anti-American sentiment to limit the number of American tourists. See, the Maldives are facing a very real threat from rising sea levels. I'm talking their entire existence is on the line, and they're pointing fingers at countries like the US with our, shall we say, robust carbon footprint. Add to that the political climate. The Maldives have been cozying up to China, which, as we all know, isn't exactly America's BFF right now. And you've got a recipe for potential travel restrictions. Now, I'm not saying you should ditch your snorkeling gear just yet, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because if we don't start taking climate change seriously, paradise might just be lost, and we'll have no one to blame but ourselves. All right, folks, buckle up, because this next one is a curveball. We're talking about a country known for its technological prowess, its unique culture, and its strict immigration policies. That's right, country number 8 is Japan. Now, before you panic, it's not a blanket ban on all Americans, but there's a new player in town, and it's shaking things up. Artificial intelligence. Japan is at the forefront of AI development, and they're using it in some pretty unexpected ways, like, say, controlling their borders. They're rolling out new AI-powered systems that analyze visa applications, travel history, and even social media activity to determine who gets in and who gets, well, banned. It's like a scene out of Minority Report, except instead of predicting crimes, they're predicting who might overstay their visa, engage in illegal activities, or even just be a bit of a nuisance. Now, I'm all for using technology to make things more efficient, but this is some next level stuff, and it raises some serious questions about privacy bias in algorithms and the whole innocent until proven guilty thing. I mean, what happens if this AI system gets it wrong? What if you're just an average Joe who loves sushi and samurai movies, but the algorithm flags you as a risk? It's a brave new world out there, folks, and not everyone is guaranteed entry. All right, we're diving deep into some serious geopolitical waters now, folks. North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, known for its nuclear ambitions and strained relationships. Getting in as an American, highly improbable. The US State Department has a standing travel ban. The political climate is tense. Constant state of war with South Korea since the 50s. Nuclear weapons, human rights concerns, and no diplomatic relations. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to visit North Korea. There have been a few rare instances where Americans have been granted special visas, mostly for humanitarian reasons or journalistic purposes. But these are exceptions, not the rule. Remember that time Dennis Rodman went to North Korea and hung out with Kim Jong-un? Yeah, even that was a big deal, a bizarre footnote in the history of US-North Korea relations. For the average American, though, getting into the hermit kingdom is a no-go. Look, I get it, the unknown can be intriguing. There's a certain allure to forbidden places, and North Korea, with its isolation and secrecy, definitely fits the bill. But sometimes the best adventures are the ones we don't take. So while you might be tempted to book that one-way ticket to Pyongyang, my advice is to hold off. For now, there are plenty of other incredible destinations out there that won't land you in hot water with the US government. All right, folks, we've reached the final destination on our tour of countries off limits to Americans. Country number 10 is Yemen. This ancient land is home to stunning architecture and vibrant culture, but recent events have made it incredibly dangerous. We're talking about a full-blown humanitarian crisis. A devastating civil war has left the country in ruins. The US State Department has issued a level 4 do not travel warning. Yemen has also seen a surge in terrorist activity. Kidnappings, bombings, and armed clashes are common. It's a heartbreaking situation, making travel to Yemen too risky. Now, I'm not one to shy away from adventure. I've climbed mountains, jumped out of planes, and even ridden a skateboard across a country. But there's a difference between taking calculated risks and putting yourself in harm's way unnecessarily. And right now, traveling to Yemen falls squarely into the latter category. It's a shame because Yemen has so much to offer. From the ancient mud-brick skyscrapers of Shibam, known as the Manhattan of the desert, to the bustling souks of Sana'a, the country's capital. Yemen is a place that's steeped in history and culture. But for now, Yemen remains a land in limbo, caught in the grip of conflict and instability. Hopefully one day, peace will return to this beautiful corner of the world, and travelers will once again be able to experience its wonders firsthand. Until then, we can only hope and pray for a brighter future for the people of Yemen. So there you have it, folks. 10 countries that are currently off limits to Americans. From political tensions to health concerns to outright conflict, The reasons for these travel bans are complex and varied. But one thing's for sure, the world is a complicated place, and navigating its borders can be tricky, to say the least. But hey, don't let that discourage you from exploring all the amazing destinations that are still out there. There are countless countries waiting to be discovered, each with its own unique culture, history, and beauty. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more travel tips and adventures. And be sure to let me know in the comments below what your travel plans are for the year. Where are you headed? What are you most excited to see and do? Let's chat. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and most importantly, stay safe out there.